Okay, now I've got my empty database sitting here, and now we want to get all the data we downloaded from the Google spreadsheet table and get it into the database. Firstly, you should have in your folder the downloaded CSV file. If you want to have a look at it on your own computer, that's fine, but just remember the golden rule with this: don't try and resave it or anything like that, because generally speaking, if it's Excel or other kind of Mac thingamajigs, they'll try to save it in a different format, and we want just the most simplest format, which is a CSV file. Going into the database, up the top, we just want to import, and we want to import a table from a CSV file. We go down and we find our table here, and we open it up. Now it's important just at this point to make sure that the column names in first line is checked, obviously because we do have essentially our field names sitting there. It's also useful to notice that you can kind of do some renaming up the top here, and this matters particularly if you download it and there's a space in it or something like that. That is going to cause problems. I'm just going to call this temporary table because we're going to be getting rid of it after we've used it. I go OK, and I've imported it, and now this appears up on the right hand side as well. Although if I do the checkbox and if I just do the little arrow down and see what's going on, you notice it all just says text, so it hasn't got all the data types in it, which yes, they are required. So again, I want to go into SQL, and actually at this point, just looking at this little browser thing here, I can save my queries. I'm not going to do it right now just because I'm in a hurry, but you probably want to start making a habit of just saving each of your queries. I'm just going to make a new one here, and this is going to manage basically copying all the information from temporary table across into my music table. So it goes insert into. Now it's my music table is where I'm going. Like that. You'll notice I don't use inverted commas anymore because it's now, if you like, part of the database and it recognizes it. I open brackets here, and I'm just going to do a little bit of copying and pasting again. If I go back here, again, I've got my list of my fields here, and because we've just kept all the names consistent, everything should be working fine. Now I want to insert into my my music table. I put these in, and firstly, we just got to think here. We actually don't want to insert into the track ID because we're going to leave that as auto increment. And in this little bracketed part here, each of these things need to be separated by a comma. You can sort of organize new lines and indentations pretty much as you like, and it can just be helpful for organizing things on the screen. So I'm going to insert into those fields in my music table, and then it's select, and again, I'm just actually going to take all of these same things because these are the same names in the temporary table. Although again, great. In this case, they're not in brackets. So it's insert into my music table, open regular braces, and then you list the fields that you want to insert into. And then in the same order, you select the fields from the table that you're working with, or you're taking from. So I'm selecting these things, and I'm selecting it from the temporary table, which is there like that. Should be able just to run that query like that. And you'll notice I've made a mistake straight away in that I've forgotten to remove the track ID in the second select thing here. So it's come up with that and saying that it can't find it. So I'm just going to delete that. And if I make a mistake again, I'll have to do all this again. So let's hope for the best this time. Thankfully, the query has been executed successfully. Again, what's that achieved? If I just go into the browse data now, and now I look at my my music table, and is now fully populated with the data in it. So it's all been copied across into that table. From there, the temporary table is now no longer of any use, and so the first thing we want to do is to get rid of it. So I've got what I want. Probably a good idea to write my changes just to make sure everything's saved. And now the temporary table is done, so I just write in here a new query, and it's drop table temporary table like that, and that will just simply delete the table. I run that, and now the temporary table is gone. My music table is still sitting there, and all the data is now in the database. So we'll just save that, or write changes, and then we'll look at what we can do with it in the next video.